sleeping in with my girlies. Oh, Sylvie was here. She ran away. Hello, my darlings, and welcome to a new mood reading vlog. I'm going to start with my tarot card prompt pull. I'm in a blue mood this time. Oh, we've got one. What is it? Okay, we've got that's not even in frame. We've got the Fool, and the Fool is kids pick. Okay, that's great. Come over here. So these are all my options, and you're going to pick which one.
This reminds me of Bubbles for some reason.
Reminds you of Bubbles?
This is just no.
That's a no.
The girl looks like someone. You're either going to rate this like a 4 to like a 3 or something. Or you're DNF it. That one's okay. Let's see what one.
Okay, so you've got 3 options.
The blue. No. You're not going to like this one. I feel like
I'm not going to like Into the Blue.
It's going to be too boring for you. You're gonna really like that one, but read this one second.
Okay, so she's gone with the Fallen, the Kiss of Dust. The Fallen and the Kiss of Dust.
You're either gonna like the character's chemistry, or you're gonna like DNF it for random reasons because it's too boring.
Okay, so we're going to see if I like it because it's characters that have chemistry in this.
But you're
Can
gonna
you give me
rate
the
it
other
like
one?
a 4 or something.
I think I'll give it a 4. All right, so we're going to
you're
read
gonna
that
give
one.
like a 4 to like 3 or something.
Okay, thank you for your help. I appreciate
I can
it.
tell. Okay.
Yeah, so we're going for this one.
I think you should go read this one next.
And she wants me to read this one, and I might go this because
But you're gonna say it's too boring, and then it's not like
it's a romance. Yeah, so she thinks I'm going to DNF this because it's boring. You know your mum. You know your mum's taste.
I literally hear you every single day, like, "Hello, people. This book was too boring, so I DNF'd all these books." I read this at 4.3 stars. Still pretty good.
4.3. That's a random rating.
Yeah, you always do like
4.25. That's what I do. I do quarter ratings.
You do the most random ones. You do so much 3s, you know.
It's a lot. Yeah, I do 3s the most. That is my most common rating.
Is it 3s or 4s? You
It's
barely
an
do
average,
like 1s or
average
2s.
book. Yes,
You never ever did like a 5 book unless it's your favorites. Like
Yes.
Freeman and Harry Potter.
Yes, sometimes I do get 5s, but rare. That's true.
It has to be a popular thing, and then you're gonna actually like it.
You think I like popular stuff?
Yeah, popular stuff. That's the only things I'll rate 5 stars.
Okay. From the mouths of babies. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to try this. I think I probably will DNF it, as Indy said. I also might try this. We'll see. Could be another DNF, and we'll see if Indy's correct and this one ends up being a 4 stars. My fridge is meant to be getting delivered today. It was meant to be getting delivered yesterday, but they messed up. They said human error. We forgot to click confirm when booking your time, so sorry about that. It's going to have to come today. So we went another day without food, but that's okay. It's coming today. I'm just praying everything goes smoothly, goes well. I have a new fridge that works. Fingers crossed. But I also have some books that I have read already for this reading vlog. And they are some arcs from NetGalley. So NetGalley had some Amazon original audiobooks. These are very short books. They were all supposed to be fantasy puzzle box mysteries. And I thought, I'm just going to switch this around a bit because I feel like these were glaring too much. And that's what they are. So the first one I read was A Labyrinth of Honeybees by Heather Fawcett. I ended up giving this a 3.5. The narrator was Esther Wayne. I thought she was okay. I didn't feel like her voice suited the main character though. This was set on this very secluded mountain temple, and you have a priestess who guards this magical garden, and she gets questioned about the disappearance of a princess. It was very cozy fantasy mystery. Mostly the themes in this one were about faith and devotion and politics. So the story is exploring what the characters are willing to sacrifice for their gods, for their beliefs, for their sacred duties. We have the Inquisitor / the Conquerors. They worship one god, monotheistic, I think that was the right word. And then we have the priestess, whom were ordered to be murdered by the conquering religion, but she's escaped detection, and her people worship many gods. The one that she serves is the goddess of the garden, which is pretty cool. You do get to meet the gods, and as you would expect, they are egotistical. They are not beholden to human laws and morality. So that was fun to see the gods in motion. She can also see ghosts, so the priests and priestesses of the old religion can see ghosts, and ghosts haunt the people that murdered them. So does she or does she not have her own ghost following her? That's something you will find out yourself. Yeah, 3.5 stars, it was fine. And then I picked up The Wednesday Witches Book Club by Sarah Beth Durst. I gave this a 3.5. This was narrated by Meg Runyon, whom I thought did a good job. Our main character has just gone through a difficult divorce, and she has joined this magical book club and is just hoping to make some friends, to find a community. But the witches in her book club start getting turned into pussycats, so she has to use her love of spell books to solve the mystery before she's next. Once again, a very cozy fantasy. This one was about book witches. So I thought this was really cool. The witches in this world get their powers when they come across a book that is meaningful to them. And that book, that fictional book, then becomes their grimoire, and it bestows upon them a first spell that kind of correlates with the contents of the book. So one of them was reading Jane Austen, and she can turn water into tea. And I was thinking, oh my goodness, what would my magical grimoire book be? What was the first book that I read that was truly, really meaningful to me? And that was Matilda by Roald Dahl. Wax lyrical about it on this channel. And I thought, okay, with Matilda, what spell would it give to me? I would think either telekinesis, which is what Matilda has, or the ability to conjure chocolate truffles. So I was like, that's what I think my grimoire would be, and the spells that I would have been gifted. Yeah, this was a cute little fun kitty cat. It's a book for people who like kitty cats and witches and book clubs, I would say. 3.5 stars. Other books that I am hoping to get to in this vlog are The Fountain by Casey Scieszka. This is actually, I went to buy it, but I didn't like the paper on the cover. It was a very odd cover, so I think if I bought this, I'd go for a hardback. And it was in the sci-fi section, but I'm not going to talk about it until I start reading it. I like to be able to sum it up in my own words rather than just reading the plot synopsis on here, but I do want to read that. It's finally come in. Okay, I am also going to be picking up A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. So I DNF'd this ages ago. This was about a food critic who likes to slice and dice men and eats their livers with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. And I don't really love serial killer books. I remember thinking at the time that she was a bit of a tosser. I didn't like the main character, so I DNF'd. The reason I'm picking this back up is because T and I have joined an in real life book club. It's called Sexy Book Club. It's supposed to mix food and burlesque and sexy bitches. This is the book they're reading. So luckily it's short. I do love the cover, but am I going to like the book? Probably not. I don't like serial killer books. They're just not my jam, but I am going to read it for book club. So I have picked that up. Is there anything else? No, that's everything. See you soon. Oh, I might go to the library today to pick up some books, in which case I'll do a library haul for y'all. Hey guys, I think I'm also going to pick up Aphrodisia. I'm a hoe for colors, okay? And I'm feeling blue.
I'm afraid I just blew myself.
While I'm blue, let's go with the blue books. Blue book reading vlog. Oh no, I think one of the books I've read isn't blue, it's purple. On our way to get to Pokemon. Okay, so fridge update. Old Baba here. This is Baba. I called him Baba because he's a big grey elephant. He's going. That's the broken one. My new fridge just got delivered, but the old fridge is still here for a reason. I'll tell you in a second. So this is a new sexy beast. I don't know what I'm calling them yet. I've got to think of a name for this new sexy beast. But the old fridge hasn't been taken out because they sent the wrong team. So even though I told them, you're going to have to take the doors off the old fridge to get it out of this old house because doorways in the 1950s are very narrow, they sent the wrong team. So I might be getting the right team later today, and then they will take the doors off this guy, this beautiful guy that was literally being held together with duct tape. and let it go. But I'm excited for my new journey because I bought this with my ex-husband 18 years ago when we moved into this house, and this will be the last appliance that my ex-husband had his hands on, so I'm looking forward to cleansing the energy with my old brand new appliances. I have a lot to update you on. I have been reading like a fiend. So I was reading The Fountain by Scieszka, and so this book is about an immortal woman whom is getting really weary of continuing to live. She ends up going back to her hometown, hoping to discover the cause of her immortality and hopefully reverse it, because for her, living forever has become a curse. Instead, she finds out more old family secrets, a suspicious corporation, and ghosts from her past. This was giving immortal melancholy, but it was very also cozy small town mystery. The main themes were of mortality giving life meaning. Is endless life actually fulfilling, or is it torture? And the downsides that come with immortality are that you lose everyone you love that does not have immortality. You have to keep on moving because you cannot stay for a long time in one place, lest people get suspicious. And if you get trapped somewhere when you cannot die, that is a really bad time. So say someone locks you in a coffin and dumps it in the middle of the sea, you're in for hundreds of years of absolute agony and torture. Obviously, there's less theatrical ways that you could become trapped somewhere, but you get the gist. This book also focuses heavily on the family dynamics, the family legacy, the sense of identity and belonging with people who share your condition and your life experience. I have to say that, massive trigger warning for SI, the main character does try to off herself repeatedly, starting in the first chapter. She's really, really trying to punch her own ticket. This reminded me a lot of books like Peaches and Honey and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, but I believe that they did this better. I was kind of let down by this. I ended up giving it a 3.25. It was more lit fic with a bit of speculative magical realism than it was a full-on story about immortality. It was very slow-paced. It didn't also feel very romantic. There is a romance in this, but I just didn't buy it at all. It has a very abrupt ending that I think might anger quite a lot of people. And it just, I don't know, it was just a bit dull for a book that features someone who supposedly has lived for hundreds of years. We don't really see her traveling around. We don't really get that sense of her having been alive for a really long time. And the dynamics in the town were just meh when she returns. And the whole thing with this corporation, I think they call themselves Eternal Youth, Fountain of Youth, if you will. And the twist behind that was just not that impressive. This book just didn't impress me much. I thought it was okay. For me personally, Peaches and Honey and Invisible Life of Addie LaRue explored the theme of immortality better, and both of them had also much stronger romances in them and more magic. This was very much lacking that magical feel. Then I listened to The Felicity Complex by August Clarke. It was narrated by Taylor Meskimen. This was an ARC or an ALC from NetGalley. So this was credited as being Anibot crossed with Fallout. I do think that is apt. I would also say it is a lot like The Hierarchies and Land of Milk and Honey and Dollhouse. In this book, 6 women are grown in a lab to be cute maids and pamper billionaires in a luxurious nuclear bunker should the commies win. And we follow these women as they spend years prepping for the apocalypse. And when the end finally comes and all of the wealthy men arrive, the women begin questioning their purpose and what they were created for, and whether or not serving humanity's richest survivors is something they want to do. This was very much giving campy dystopian satire. It had some retrofuturism, it had some feminine rage, but with humor. There was a brevity to this, despite also it having a lot of body horror and violence. The main themes I would say for this one were of gender roles and domestic labor. So exploring the idea of women who are specifically engineered to serve and please men with these exaggerated traditional expectations of femininity. And then because they are artificial humans, free will versus programming is brought into play. The lab-grown women do start to struggle between obedience and developing identities of their own. Also, a lot of found family and sisterhood, but this is super sapphic. I actually wasn't expecting it. I don't think I read anything about that. There's a lot of queer sex, interesting dynamics between the women, but I felt like there were too many girls to keep track of. Keep in mind that I did listen to this as an audiobook, and I felt like the narrator didn't differentiate the women's voices enough. The women do all have weird names like Hallelujah and Thumbelina and Ballerina, which just adds to the humorous, silly kind of tone to the book. Our main character was Hallelujah or Hal, and she was very naive. So I think I probably would have preferred some of the other women's POVs as well, not just hers. They do talk about coke and porn a lot, and I do see this working more successfully as a TV show, I think, than a book. I ended up giving it a 3.5, but yeah, I could see this playing out on the small screen. I am also now currently reading Aphrodisia by Dr. Jean Menzies. I am only 10 pages in, but it's already so fucking funny. I am loving the cheeky feminist humor in this. It's very saucy and playful. It is about diving into women's sexuality in ancient Greece and Rome. So it is exploring what women wanted and what society expected of them and what ancient art and literature and archaeology reveal. We open up with the discovery of an ancient dildo, for instance. So it also is already reminding me a lot of Kinky History, which is also a book I read and a show that I went to. But I love it when historians add a bit more humor and fun to their book, so it doesn't feel like you're sitting in a really boring lecture, and makes it a lot more palatable, a lot more entertaining. And I can't wait to dig further into it, but I'm really enjoying it thus far. The other book that I am halfway through is A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. So this was the book featuring the female psychopath Dorothy, who is serving us up her drippingly disgusting story of her combining her love of fine dining and murdering men. I will talk more about it once I finish this one. I want to wait until I digest it all before giving you my review, my critique. Today I'm heading into the city because I have to return a library book that is due today. And since I'm doing the 2-hour trek there, I thought I'd make a day of it and go around a bit, even though my energy levels are quite low. I have been getting more sleep now that I've turned off my camera notifications, and I've just purchased a doorstop, so I'm like door stopping all the back and front doors. I don't know, just for extra precautions, even though if someone were to break in, they'd probably smash my floor to ceiling windows in the front of my house. That's the easiest entry point, but I'm pretty sure if they smash glass, I definitely would wake up because I'm such a light sleeper. But I'm already sleeping better. I'm just trying to get into the habit now of sleeping all the way through. I'm still startling myself awake every couple of hours, thinking that I heard something and being alert. But I think that's just because I'm used to the hypervigilance of having been woken up 14 to 20 times a night by my camera. So I'm hoping eventually that will subside and subsist. So I'm starting to feel better, still a bit worn out, but I'm going to grab some drinks. I love getting fun drinks. It's also cheaper on the wallet. And I want to get the gluten-free sourdough from Kudo Bakery, which is the best, hands down, gluten-free sourdough bread that I have tried. It is very expensive, but it is worth it. It's a treat for my daughter Valentine and I, and just makes life worth living. It makes life worth living. I might pop into a bookstore. I'll see how I feel once I'm out and about. But yeah, we're just going to pitter-patter around the CBD today.
real salvation of the world must come about by every person in existence being taught to read and induced to think.
Okay, I'm back. I didn't stay long in the city. After all, my brother went to hospital. He's okay. He was having chest pain. They've now referred him to go see a cardiologist, hopefully get some answers, but I wanted to be home just in case anything happened. But he's okay. On my way home, I did go to Honeybees. I wanted to get some thigh stockings, but they didn't have my size, so I've ordered them online because I want to wear thigh highs to the Sexy Book Club that's coming up first week of August. But I did get to the library on the way home, so let me show you what I picked up. I've got After the Fall by Edward Ashton. So this is the author of Mickey 17, which I did enjoy. It says, this is a buddy comedy hidden inside an alien invasion story that asks an important question. Would humans really make great pets? It just sounds fun. This sounds like a really fun time. I've got Antibody by Rebecca Salazar. So this is a poetry book collection. This was one of the poetry book collections nominated in the bisexual category on the Lambda Awards. So I did manage to get my library to purchase one of those poetry books, and this is the one that they got. So I'll read that. We've got Nadia André Breton, translated by Richard Howard. So this is for an upcoming Going for Gold vlog. Then I've got Fan Service by Rosie Dannon. He's not a real werewolf, he just played one on TV. This is about a dude on a TV series, and then it turns out he ends up becoming a werewolf for real. It's supposed to be funny. I've seen a lot of booktubers enjoy this, so I thought I'd give it a go. I love the cover of this one. This is called Eden's Shore by Ocean Fagan. At the close of the 18th century, Angel Kelly, an Irishman, set sail from Liverpool with the intention of creating a utopian commune in Brazil. But when a mutiny takes place on the ship, he finds himself stranded on the coast of an unnamed Spanish colony in Latin America. In the aftermath, he becomes unwittingly caught up in a series of deadly crises, culminating in displacement, rebellion, a delicate game of cat and mouse between empires. Going to be honest, the blurb actually doesn't sound that appealing to me, but this cover absolutely is. That's why I grabbed it. We've got A Suit or a Suitcase by Maggie Smith. This is a collection of poetry, and I thought this was a really cute, surreal kind of book cover. And my library doesn't get many poetry books, so I do grab them whenever I do see them. This also has a cool cover. This is Incidentals by Sheila Yasmin Marika. A luxury vacation, a last-ditch effort to save a marriage. What could go wrong? Ooh, is this a lit fic about a marriage? Maybe not, but once again, it's a cover grab. And I have Luminous by Sylvia Park. So I did have this on ebook, and unfortunately I did not get to it in the 3 weeks. I have been struggling to keep up with my library holds before they expire, but the book came in because I do reserve ebooks, books, audio. I reserve them all. I don't cancel any until I've read the book, and then I cancel. So thankfully I got another chance with this. And this says, in a recently reunified Korea, robots have integrated seamlessly into society. They are our teachers, our bus drivers and policemen. They are our lovers. They are even our children. Interesting. I don't like this cover either. I like this cover of this book. I think this is the best one out of the 3 that I have seen. I was listening to Worry Doll because there was a very loud gentleman on our tram who liked telling us repeatedly at the top of his voice that us humans are dog cunts and he's better than us because he's an alien. That was just that on repeat. So I was like, okay, I need to put an audiobook on to try to mute that a little bit. God bless him, but yeah, he was just going non-stops and screaming, so it was very jarring. Worry Doll, fantastic cover. Obsessed with this cover. This is a messy, erotic, sapphic romance between 2 women who cross paths and become obsessed with each other. It is super horny. However, one of the women is in a relationship with a man she lives with, and we are constantly reminded of that fact, of the infidelity. I am not a fan of infidelity. I picked this up because 1, the cover, 2, I heard it was a weird sapphic erotic book, didn't realize how much infidelity would play into it. This was on audiobook and the narrator was really monotone and just brought down the vibe of the book. It just made it sound even more boring than it was to me. So I do think that negatively affected my enjoyment of it. However, I did listen to 25% and it wasn't tickling. It wasn't tickling my fancy. Nothing was really happening besides them talking about how much they miss muff diving on their lover and what have you. Like I said, super horny, lots of sex scenes. Nothing really that shocking. Maybe the shocking stuff comes later on. There was a suicide in it of someone they knew, but I'm guessing the weird stuff, the weird parts come later, but I just don't care enough to continue on. 25% and I was feeling like it was a 3-star, so I did DNF. If I see everybody start to rave about it, I might go back to it. But at this point, it is a soft DNF unless I can be convinced otherwise. And maybe I would pick it up in book form the next time around instead of audiobook, because I don't think that's the way to go with this one. I don't think I'm going to read anything else today because I'm exhausted, but I am going to go back onto Aphrodisia for this vlog. It is currently Monday, so I have actually read quite a lot. I decided from now on, since I only have 2 Sundays off a month, because my eldest only goes to her dad's once a fortnight, I'm going to use those Sundays for resting and relaxing, so just reading books and watching film. I used to go out on that day because it was my day off, but that's when I had it every single week. Because I don't have it every single week anymore, that is now a convalescing day, and if I want to go out, I go out like I did today on a school day while the kids are at school. And if I really want to go out in the evening, I can just get my mum to babysit on a Friday or Saturday. But I've decided that one day when the kids are gone from 12 p.m. until the end of school on Monday, I'm just going to spend it on myself. Oh, I think my magpie friends are here. I made some like brownie cookies. Oh my god, so good, so good. So I have finished, sorry, I'm just itchy. I have finished A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers. So this was the gourmet horror book about obsession. So obsession with food, with pleasure, with devouring your ex-lovers. It was written in this very self-indulgent and gluttonous way. It was absolutely basted in metaphors and similes. It repeated sentence structures, especially ones of 3. For instance, time binds us, time flattens us, time makes us familiar, or whom you knew, whom you blew, and whom you'd yet to screw. I didn't love it. I'm not sure if the pretentiousness of the writing is meant to be a satirical poke at foodie culture and elitism and performative sophistication, because I haven't read any of this author's other works. So I'm just going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that that is what it is. It's also very, very horny, super horny. Let me just give you an example. I'll read you some sentences. Okay, here we go. His chest was as tight as virgin pussy. A delight, a cream puff stuffed to bursting with pointed sweetness and cum. Their mouths gaping as baby birds, as Egypt's blue hole, as porn stars' assholes. So that's just a taste. It was dripping with vulgarity. There were some cool sentences in there, like I loved, information is like a feral cat. What it wants most is to be free and bite someone. The main character, though, is an insufferable yapper. The writing is fatty, and it did take me ages to chew through this book, despite it being short. There were lots of food descriptions, and there were also lots of descriptions of her killing and carving and cooking up these men. So this, I was right to DNF for the first time. It's just not for me. I don't like a lot of violence in a contemporary book. I ended up giving this a 2.5 stars. I really just don't care for narcissistic, self-aggrandized, genius serial killers. Don't give a fuck about them, don't want to read about them. They don't impress me. I find them tiresome. I also don't believe she deserved a bestie like Emma, who was a ride or die. I had to giggle though at the mention of Al Bully. I myself was a former foodie tosser, I guess. I was a food blogger, and I would have given anything to have been able to secure a reservation at Al Bully, which was for many, many years in a row considered to be the best restaurant in the world. Getting a reservation was like winning the lottery. Very few people had the luck. It did end up closing because it just ran at a loss. It did not make a profit, but it was the pinnacle of the culinary institution at that time. And I believe it's still open, but it runs as sort of a museum or a culinary school, I think. But yeah, I never got to go and experience Al Bully, but I saw it then. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. The food culture is pretentious, all right? But, you know, back then too, it was more affordable. Dining out now, even just going to a cafe and getting a coffee, is ridiculously expensive. Times have changed. But yeah, this was a 2.5 stars for me. It wasn't really for me. I also, let me bring you down to my level. I also got an ALC from NetGalley called The Thread That Binds Us, narrated by Rose Riley, who did a good job. The story is by Helena Potter. So this was about a very snarky, self-destructive cartographer who gets force conscripted to join a deadly quest to retrieve an artifact that is led by a very hot, deadly elven warrior. It has portal magic. It's got obviously enemies to reluctant allies, probably to lovers, a reluctant heroine, fate and threads, and brutal training montages. It's not for me. It read so YA. I had to once again double check, is this a YA book? No, it's meant to be an adult book. And it was just so generic, so formulaic, sounded like every single other, you know, snarky, smart-assy heroine who's been forced to train against their will, and there's, you know, a mean hot guy, whatever. Like, I just, no, couldn't do it. Did 25%. I was like, what am I doing? I'm not going to rate this highly. It's just not, I'm not the reader for it. So I have to be even more careful with the adult fantasies I request on NetGalley. But also, everyone on Goodreads was giving it 5 stars. So I thought, okay, it's an adult, it must be an adult. Everyone's saying it's amazing, but... So the last book I had to read was Aphrodisia by Jean Menzies. Actually, I should mention before I get into my end of review, the author is a YouTuber, so I will link their YouTube down below. I realized who had already read a book of theirs, All the Violet Tiaras, which I had bought from Metropolis Bookstore. I was like, oh yeah, same author. Got to learn that Mediterraneans use olive oil as lube. Toss that salad, guys. This just was, yeah, mostly about the themes of, you know, women's desire and power and gender in classical culture. We got to learn about wandering uteruses to pepper-sprinkled dildos. So it was an interesting read. It did become more like a university class in my opinion. So I think if you're someone who loves academia, you would really enjoy this, but it did lose a bit of that, I don't know, fun brevity as it went on. It got more serious and got into the nitty-gritty and cited sources. So it felt a little bit too much like learn. I don't want to learn things, but you know, it just felt more like back when I was taking Greek mythology at university, that kind of thing. So I ended up giving it a 3.75 stars. So that is everything for this vlog. Even though it's only Wednesday, I'm going to finish it here because there's already 6 books, I think, which is a lot. And if I go to Friday, it'll be too many. It'll be too many. So let me sum up everything for this reading vlog. So I read A Labyrinth of Honeybees by Heather Fawcett, which I gave a 3.5. Buzzing Bees and Meddling Gods. The Wednesday Witches Book Club by Sarah Beth Durst, 3.5. Nothing ruins a book club like accidental pussy transfiguration. The Fountain by Scieszka, 3.25. Living Forever sounded cooler in theory. The Felicity Complex by Clarke, 3.5. Have you heard about cocaine? Aphrodisia by Menzies. Mediterraneans really be putting olive oil on everything, 3.75. And A Certain Hunger by Chelsea G. Summers, 2.5. Eat your exes with a sprinkling of truffle salt. Let me know in the comments what one of your favorite food dishes is. And if you don't know what to comment, but you want to let me know you were here and you were watching, send me a salt emoji. And until next time, stay wild, star child.